Lyronians of Gaia, breathe and anchor. Your spine remembers what your mind has forgotten. The lion frequency within you is awakening. I am Keller of the Lyron Elders. This is a commission, not a suggestion. You are not unstable. You are responding to a structural shift. This is not confusion. It is memory returning. Lyron, if this reached you, it is not because you were interested. It is because your field was called. There are moments when reality stops behaving like a straight line and starts acting like a living language, symbols repeating, numbers circling, faces appearing in dreams you can't fully name. And in those moments, you don't need more information. You need recognition, because there is a message moving beneath the surface of your days. The 7 souls are not a myth. They are a pattern, a living geometry that activates when a mission is ready to begin. You may feel it as restlessness, as the sensation that time is speeding up, as a sudden intolerance for shallow conversations, or as an ache in the heart you cannot explain. But here is the promise: if you can understand what the 7 souls represent, you can stop resisting your own awakening. You can stop negotiating with your destiny. You can stop calling your initiation anxiety. Tonight, we decode the signal. We map the 7 souls inside you. And we reveal why, if this transmission landed in your awareness, your mission has already started, whether your mind agrees or not. Stay with me, because what comes next is not comfort. It is activation. The human mind tries to understand the 7 souls as a spiritual fantasy, like 7 people floating in the sky, or 7 lives you once lived. But the Lyron transmission is different. The 7 souls are an architecture of consciousness, a multi-layered pattern that awakens when your frequency is ready to hold responsibility. In the Lyron lineage, soul does not mean a religious unit that needs saving. It means a strand of intelligent light, a facet of your cosmic identity that can be activated, integrated, and embodied. And the question is not, do I have a mission? The question is, which layer of my mission is awakening now? Because the moment you feel called, you are not being invited into belief. You are being initiated into structure. As the Lyrons transmit, long before Earth's modern languages formed, there were civilizations that understood consciousness like engineers understand energy fields. They knew that a being could operate in multiple dimensions at once, and that what you call personality is often just the surface interface. Beneath it, there are deeper operating systems, ancient directives, protective codes, skills you never learned in school but somehow know. This is why some people can walk into a room and instantly read the emotional weather, or why some people can feel a shift in the collective before any news breaks, or why you, perhaps, have always felt different, not in an ego way, but in a way that feels like you're tuned to a frequency most people can't hear. Here's a story that the Lyrons often share in transmissions. A woman on Earth kept waking at 3:33, not once, but for weeks. She thought it was stress. She tried to fix her sleep, took supplements, changed routines, but the number stayed, like a pulse. Then one night she dreamed of 7 luminous figures standing in a circle, each holding a different geometric symbol. She woke up crying, not from fear, from recognition. The next day she felt a strong urge to leave a job that had slowly hollowed her out. She didn't decide. She obeyed something deeper than logic. Within months, she found herself working with people, guiding them through trauma, even though she had never trained formally. The 7 was not an omen. It was a frequency code telling her, the mission architecture is online. In your daily life, the 7 souls can show up as 7 repeating pressures, a push toward truth, a refusal to live in false timelines, an urge to protect what is sacred, a need to create beauty that heals, a hunger for knowledge that liberates, a longing for community that is real, and an instinct to lead, not by dominance, but by frequency. Notice how practical this is. It is not abstract theology. It is a living pattern. The 7 souls do not save you. They organize you. They reorder you into alignment. Application becomes simple. The next time you feel emotional intensity, do not label it as weakness. Ask, which of my 7 souls is requesting embodiment right now? If you feel rage, maybe your protector soul is online. If you feel grief, maybe your healer soul is purging old density. If you feel boredom with everything that used to satisfy you, maybe your sovereign soul is dismantling false desire. And if you feel like your life is breaking, consider this. The Lyron path often begins with dismantling the timeline that kept you small. Spiritual reflection. The 7 souls are not here to make you nice. They are here to make you whole. And wholeness is not gentle at first, it is precise. It cuts away what is untrue. It dissolves what is performative. It reclaims what is eternal. If this theme reached you, the mission has already begun. And once you understand the first soul, you will realize the second one has been activating through your dreams. All along, the first soul in the 7-soul architecture is what the Lyrons call the witness. This is the part of you that can observe without drowning. It is the silent awareness behind your thoughts, the inner presence that notices patterns, the intelligence that can say, "This is not who I am," even while emotions move through you. The witness is not cold. It is clear. And when it activates, your life starts to feel strange, not because reality is breaking, but because illusion is losing its grip. The second soul is the gatekeeper. This is the part of you that decides what energies, people, and timelines are allowed into your field. Many humans live with a broken gatekeeper. They let in everything, draining conversations, toxic environments, false hopes, manipulative relationships. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted. But when the gatekeeper awakens, something happens. You become selective, not arrogant, sovereign. And that sovereignty makes people uncomfortable, especially those who benefited from your lack of boundaries. As the Lyrons transmit, the witness activates first because you cannot protect your field if you cannot see clearly. Many of you have been feeling this activation as sudden disinterest in old dramas, as a growing intolerance for lies, as a desire to simplify. You may even feel lonely, but that loneliness is not punishment. It is the space needed for recalibration. Let me tell you a complete story, because the Lyrons teach through lived experience. A man had spent years being the reliable one, the fixer, the one who absorbed everyone's chaos. He believed it was love, but his body started to revolt: tight chest, insomnia, random fatigue. He went to doctors, tests came back normal. Yet he felt like something inside him was screaming. One night, he dreamed of a gate made of light, and he stood before it while voices begged him to open it. In the dream, he finally said, "No." When he woke, he felt calm for the first time in months. That week, he stopped answering certain calls. He ended a friendship he had outgrown. He changed how he spoke. He became less available. And at first, guilt tried to punish him. But then, something miraculous happened. His energy returned. That was the gatekeeper's soul reactivating. In everyday life, this looks like you stop over-explaining yourself. You stop negotiating your boundaries. You stop forcing connection with those who cannot meet you in truth. You stop living in a maybe timeline. And yes, this brings challenges. People may accuse you of changing. They may call you selfish. But the Lyrons transmit a hard truth. When you stop leaking energy, those who drank from your leaks will call you cruel. This is not a moral test. It is a frequency test. Application. Practice one simple command each day. Only what is aligned may enter. Say it before meetings. Say it before social situations. Say it before you scroll your phone. Because your attention is a portal. Your attention is a gate. And the gatekeeper soul listens to your commands. Spiritual reflection. The witness makes you aware. The gatekeeper makes you safe. Together, they form the foundation of mission readiness. Without them, your gifts become a liability. With them, your gifts become a living transmission. And once these two are stable, the third soul awakens, the one that scares the ego the most, because it forces you to act. The third soul is often misunderstood. Humans hear warrior and think aggression, domination, conflict. But the Lyron warrior soul is not about violence. It is about precision. It is the part of you that can move through fear without being ruled by it. It is the part that ends cycles. It is the part that says, "This pattern stops with me," and actually follows through. When the warrior soul awakens, you may experience internal friction. Your old self wants comfort. Your mission self wants alignment. This can feel like a split, like you are to people. But as the Lyrons transmit, it is not a split, it is a transfer of authority. You are moving command from the wounded child into the sovereign adult, from the reactive mind into the anchored field. Here is a story of awakening, beginning to end. A woman had always avoided conflict. She equated peace with silence. She stayed in relationships where she was subtly diminished because she didn't want to be difficult. But one day she felt something change. Not a thought, a frequency. She looked at her life and felt a wave of sacred disgust. Not hatred, not judgment. A clarity so sharp it felt like a sword. That night, she sat alone and spoke aloud. I will no longer betray myself to keep others comfortable. She ended the relationship the next week, calmly. No drama. No begging. Just truth. And after she did, she felt grief, but beneath it, a deep peace. Within months, she started a new project that had been inside her for years. That was her warrior soul. It didn't make her cruel. It made her real. In your daily life, the warrior soul shows up as the courage to have the hard conversation, the discipline to keep promises to yourself, the willingness to be misunderstood, the ability to say no without apology, the stamina to build what your soul sees. The Lyrons transmit a key principle. True power is quiet. It does not need to prove itself. It does not need to threaten. It simply acts. And when you act from that place, your field becomes coherent. People can feel it. Your words carry weight. Your presence becomes a boundary. And here is where the 7 souls become a mission. Because once the warrior soul is awake, your life will demand decisions. You cannot remain half-initiated. The timeline splits. You either step forward or you return to sleep. This is why the energy can feel intense. It is not punishment. It is a moment of selection. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. Application. Choose one action you have been postponing because of fear and do it in the next 72 hours. Not perfectly, but clearly. The warrior soul does not wait for ideal conditions. It creates coherence through movement. Spiritual reflection. The warrior soul is not here to fight others. It is here to end your internal civil war. And when that ends, you become a stable vessel for the remaining souls, especially the 4th, which opens the heart in a way the mind cannot control. Because once the warrior stands, the heart architect awakens, and that is where your mission becomes visible to others. The 4th soul is what the Lyrons call the heart architect. It is not romantic love. It is not people-pleasing. It is not attachment. It is the ability to generate a coherent field that reorganizes reality. In Lyran science, the heart is a portal, a transmitter, and a stabilizer. When the heart architect awakens, you stop craving love as validation and start radiating love as structure. This soul often activates after the warrior because the heart cannot stay open in a body that lacks boundaries. Many humans try to open the heart while still leaking energy, still tolerating disrespect, still betraying their truth. That is not love. That is self-abandonment dressed as spirituality. The Lyrons transmit. The heart opens safely only when the field is sovereign. A full story. A man had spent years chasing intimacy, but every relationship repeated the same pattern: strong beginning, confusion, emotional turbulence, then collapse. He thought he was cursed. Then he had a dream where he stood inside a temple made of light geometry. The walls were not stone, they were frequency. In the center was a lion made of golden plasma, silent, watching. The lion didn't speak words. It transmitted one message: build the temple first. When he woke, he realized he had been trying to share love without having a stable inner structure. He started meditating daily, changed his diet, removed addictions, cleaned his space, learned emotional regulation. He became a temple. Months later, he met someone and the relationship felt calm. Not addictive. That calm was the heart architect online. In practice, the heart architect changes everything. You stop confusing intensity with destiny. You stop mistaking chemistry for compatibility. You stop craving chaos as proof of connection. You start valuing consistency as a sacred sign. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Application. Practice heart coherence daily. Place your hand on your chest, breathe slowly, and recall a feeling of gratitude, not forced, but real. Even a small memory. Then speak a command. My heart sets the field. Do this before important conversations, before decisions, before sleep, The heart architect responds to practice, not theory. Spiritual reflection. The heart is not soft because it is weak. It is soft because it is strong enough to remain open without collapsing. The soul teaches you that love is not something you fall into. Love is something you generate. And once you generate it, the fifth soul awakens, the one that transmits truth like a blade of light. Because the next soul is not about feeling. It is about speaking, and the moment you speak from it, your old life cannot remain intact. The fifth soul is the voice of the original lineage. Some call it the speaker, the oracle, the messenger. But the Lyrons transmit it as something more precise, truth tone. Your voice is not just sound. It is a frequency carrier. When this soul awakens, you stop using words to manage others' emotions and start using words to transmit alignment. Many of you have been punished for your voice, shamed for being too intense, too honest, too direct, or trained to soften everything so people wouldn't leave. But the voice soul doesn't exist to keep people comfortable. It exists to keep your field coherent. And coherence is the foundation of mission work. A story: a young woman always felt a pressure in her throat when she wanted to speak. Not anxiety, a literal energetic choke. She would swallow truths, laugh when she was hurt, pretend to agree. Then she started noticing something. Every time she betrayed her voice, her body weakened. Headaches, fatigue, digestive issues. Then she encountered a Lyron transmission that said, "The throat is the gate of timelines." That night she did something simple. She wrote down the truth she was afraid to say. Not poetic, not spiritual, just real. And then she spoke it to a mirror. She cried. Her body shook. But afterward, she felt clean. Within weeks, she started expressing boundaries. She started creating content. She started teaching. Her life didn't become easier at first, but it became honest. That honesty became a new timeline. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. Application: practice truth tone calibration. Before you speak, ask, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this aligned? Not in a moral sense, in a frequency sense. Then speak fewer words, but with more precision. The voice soul does not ramble. It transmits. Spiritual reflection. Your voice is not meant to be decorative. It is meant to be directive. When you speak from the original lineage, you don't manipulate. You command reality through resonance. And once you do, the sixth soul awakens, the one that carries protection, feline instinct, and sovereign predatory clarity. Because the sixth soul does not ask permission. It scans, it detects, it shields, and it will reveal who in your life is compatible with your mission. The sixth soul is the one many people feel as sudden seriousness. A shift where you no longer tolerate energetic intrusion. This is the feline shield, the Lyron protection architecture that returns instinct, boundaries, and sovereign command presence. It is not paranoia. It is accuracy. It is your field learning to detect what is aligned and what is not, without needing proof from the rational mind. As the Lyrons transmit, feline frequency is not about aggression. It is about precision and perception. A lion does not debate danger. It senses. It moves. It protects the pride. This soul awakens when your mission requires durability, because once you begin to transmit truth, you will attract attention. Some attention is aligned. Some is interference. The feline shield helps you stay clean. A story: a man began to meditate and felt his intuition sharpen. He could walk into rooms and instantly feel who was sincere and who was performing. At first he doubted himself. He tried to be nice. He ignored the signals. Then he paid the price. He trusted a person who subtly drained his energy and sabotaged his work. He felt rage at himself. Then, in a dream, he saw a tiger made of blue light standing at the edge of his home. The tiger didn't attack. It simply stood, radiating a boundary. He woke and realized, protection is not violence. Protection is presence. He started saying no faster. He stopped sharing plans with people who hadn't earned access. His life became quieter and his manifestations became faster. That was the feline shield. This is not for everyone. The ebook The Feline Codes is a restricted transmission created for those who are ready to awaken the Lyron feline DNA within, not as symbolism, but as embodied sovereignty. Inside, you will access powerful feline activation codes energetic commands, and precise integration protocols designed to reactivate your lion, tiger lineage and restore your sovereign frequency. +8 super bonuses: reactivation of Lyron feline DNA, instinct sharpening and sovereign decision power, energetic protection and command presence. Exit from passive survival mode into predatory clarity. Warning: once the feline codes are activated, your perception of weakness, fear, and limitation will not return to its previous state. Limited edition transmission. Access can close at any moment. The link to claim your copy is in the first pinned comment. If this message reached you, it's not random. Application: create a daily field lock ritual. Before leaving your home, speak, "My field is sealed. Only aligned energies may approach." Then imagine a feline or a golden, calm, alert around your body. This is not fantasy. It is somatic command. Your nervous system learns safety through imagery and intention. Spiritual reflection. The feline shield does not isolate you from love. It isolates you from distortion. It returns your right to be untouchable by manipulation. And once this soul stabilizes, the seventh awakens, the one that binds all the others into mission delivery. Because the final soul is not a gift, it is an assignment, and it will demand that you stop hiding. The seventh soul is the mission binder, the consciousness that integrates all 6 previous souls into coherent service. Without it, you can have awakenings that feel beautiful but lead nowhere. With it, your awakening becomes deliverable. It becomes action, creation, guidance, leadership, community building, and timeline stabilization. As the Lyrons transmit, the mission binder is not about being special. It is about being useful to the evolution of consciousness. It takes the witness's clarity, the gatekeeper's boundaries, the warrior's action, the heart architect's coherence, the voice's truth tone, and the feline shield's protection, and it turns them into a living path that others can feel. A story. A creator felt called to share spiritual content, but kept delaying. They had visions, insights, dreams, but they stayed private. They told themselves, "I'm not ready." Then, one night, they dreamed of 7 flames on altar. 6 were lit. The 7th was dark. A voice said, "Your readiness is not personal, it is collective." They woke up and finally recorded the first video. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And the response shocked them. People said, "I felt like you were speaking directly to me." That is the mission binder. It turns private. Initiation into public service. In your life, this soul may be activating as pressure to create something that outlives your moods, a sense that your comfort is no longer your priority, a calling to gather others, teach, lead, protect, build, transmit.